Another one.
How did you gain experience in test automation? So, I have experience with Python, and I am interested in getting a career in QA slash test automation. So, I wanted to learn Selenium. Now, I'm studying the QA concept and methodologies as well. How did you guys practice and improve your test automation skills? Did you practice using? Did you practice testing on dummy websites or your own web app and then test that? Also, testing APIs via request and Postman. I want to show that I am developing my skills and put it on my GitHub and my resume, but I don't know what I should do. You, my friend, are in a very, very interesting conundrum. Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you. That makes sense. Because that name did sound familiar. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Let me not get distracted. Let's start the clock. Right. Start the clock. So, okay. So, how did I get started? How did I get experience in test automation? So, my story is a little different than most people, right? Because so if we take it all the way back, right? I need to get a back in time sound, right? But um I started working in tech support back in like 2005, right? Yes, I'm old, right? But from tech support, I was recruited to do web design, right? And then after 2008 happened and everything like that, people got laid off. I ended up getting a job in QA, right? But throughout that time I was still like learning on my own, figuring to like just troubleshooting, JavaScript troubleshooting. What was that other what's that other language? Not Python. PHP, troubleshooting PHP stuff, learning about WordPress, learning about Joomla. Built a learning platform for somebody. Not built it, but like implemented the layout for it. Doing a bunch of MySpace custom pages and stuff like that. So many different things that we were doing, and then I got a job in QA, and I was doing like writing test plans, test cases, and stuff like that. It was mainly manual QA and doing like writing defects and stuff like that. But I used everything that I learned while I was unemployed and while I was working as a web designer and when I was in tech support and from things that I learned in school about like DNS and emails and stuff like that. So all of that stuff came together. So now when I'm writing defects and stuff, I'm able to troubleshoot and I'm able to look into like the JavaScript why things are failing and stuff like that, which eventually led to when we started getting the need for automation. The company that I was working for, they didn't really know any better because nobody over there knew about automation. So they hired somebody to use the software. HP's at the time was QuickTest Professional. Now it's Unified Functional Testing, and it was a very expensive software, very clunky, very heavy. Like it was like $5,000 per license, right? Crazy. And the person that they hired, then they said, okay, we need another person to do it too. So they said, hey, Ralph, do you want to learn automation and you learn the software? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. That's how I got brought into it. And then as soon as I got into it, like a little bit after, the person they had hired to do it, they left. So then I was the only person doing it. So I was supporting that software for maybe 2 years. And we ended up having a need for like doing mobile web testing. So I started researching. Everything that I was finding was not a good option. And I stumbled across like, and it sounds crazy to say it now, but I stumbled across Selenium, and I started like, and I had no Java experience whatsoever. If you were to see the first automated test in Selenium that I wrote, you'd be like, what in the world is this? But I had the luxury of being able to like working with the other software while transitioning the company to like, well, not even transitioning, like figuring out the new software, and I built a team around that, and that is how I got into test automation. That's how I got into Selenium, and test automation. But using like transitioning the company from Quick Test Professional to Selenium, figuring it out, all of that. Not only did I was I able to saved the company 15 grand, at least 15 grand in different licensing fees for Quick Test Professional. We're also able to test a bunch of different like mobile websites, as well as all of the other websites that we were supporting. All right. So with that background, I didn't practice on dummy websites because I had real websites to transition to, and we built off a whole team, and that's how I really started learning how to get better with Java. At the same time, I was able to go on Udemy to get a better understanding of Java and learn Java a lot better. And then when I switched companies, that's where I really got into API testing. And this is what happened, right? I started at the new company, and I had to use Postman. And I used Postman, I did the API calls, and I said, this sucks. Like doing this manually. I'm not gonna do this manually. So I did some research, and I said, oh, I can use Rest Assured to do these API testing and integrate it with the other API, with the other framework. So I was like, okay, let's do that. So then I ended up building I had the web automation, I had the API testing, all of that going together. So now we get to the part. Of you want to develop your skills and you want to put it on your GitHub, right? My recommendation would be to like for your resume, putting projects on your resume. I don't think those like that helps much. I would say try to find someone to connect with who's like maybe they are maybe they're getting started in software development, right? And they're building something. My thing is always build something that's going to be out to the public, that's going to have real users, so that it's something that's going to matter to who you're talking to. So on your resume, if I see on your resume, oh, projects, right? I'm like, okay, I don't care. But if you have on your resume experience, oh, we have this, we built this application that we have. Let's say you have 50 users on the application. That's to me, that's great, right? And we have 50 users, and we're doing this, and I created the documentation. I have the automated test every time we have a new release. We have the regression test. I've been able to catch X amount of bugs. So for the people who are getting started, you you shouldn't get started in QA in a silo, right? I would say find someone who's getting started in software engineering, software development, and team up with them, right? They need tests. They need to get their application tested, right? So you offer to test their application so you can get actual experience and make sure and you only do this with people who are actually working on building something that's gonna have real users, that's gonna be out to the public, all right? So that is how that is my best strategy for you to build real practical experience, because all those projects, they don't matter. And that's why a lot of people don't really care about them that much. And when I say a lot of people don't care about them, not the person who's looking at the resume, the person who's actually building it, right? You don't care about stuff that nobody's really going to see. But if you know that there's actually something on the line for what's being used, you're going to care a little bit more, right? So that's why I say team up with somebody who's actually building something. If you are able to build your own application, great. But if not, then team up with somebody and work together, collaborate. And now that person as well has on their resume, oh, I built this application, have 50 users. I have my unit test. I have a QA engineer who's testing this stuff. And that's why we're able to have a successful application. And the application in the future can also become its own thing, and you can make some money off of that as well, right? No. So we're always looking to build and to grow, okay? So hopefully that helped, all right?
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.